Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's the start of a new week, so let's do it, shall we? There she is, loud and proud in the top left-hand corner of your screen. It's the new logo. Now you better get used to her because she is here to stay. In fact, she'll be back later in today's show in a slightly different guise, so look out for her then. What about today's map? Well, forewarned, you are going to need your very best underpants for this one because, frankly, it's so sexy it is going to seduce you. That's a promise. It seduced me. It does have one or two detailing errors, one or two minor grumbles, but you're still going to be subscribing anyway, and that's a promise. But before we do any subscribing to any maps, I'd like you to do a little bit of liking of videos if you know how. That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, so thanks for your support. Today's map is Provincia Calvino Mediterranean District by Funchenstein. Now if you recognise the name Funchenstein, that's because they have appeared on the show a couple of times in the past, all of the very highest standard. There's your start square, road and rail and river and land. Well, what more do you want? How about flat land? Well, there's plenty of flattish land around that valley and flattish land up on the plateaus as well. And what about resources? Bam! How many resources would you like, sir? Well, I'd like all of the resources. There you go, sir. All of the resources for you. And then off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, you will need mass transit for this one. Also, the Laviante theme and LUT, network extensions 2, unlimited trees, and 3 other trees as well. That's it. That's it. And you're good to go. So, Funchenstein. Let's see if we can remember a bit about Funchenstein. They've had one map reviewed. It was a joint effort with Mr. Miyagi, Oslo, and it got 13 stars. And of course, that seal of approval. A lovely, lovely map that was too. Now, let's have a quick look at this intersection first of all. Right off in the edge of the fog here. So I'm prepared to let the one glaring detailing error on this map, on this intersection, just go onto the back burner. It's okay. I can let it go. It's probably the most glaring of all the detailing errors on the map. You haven't seen it yet, have you? No, because everything else about this intersection is bleeding perfect. Up here, though, you'll notice we've got a little bit of the road glitching there, where it's just been forced a little bit too hard and such. It's behind us now because it was off in the fog, and I can kind of like let that sort of thing go. So anyway, yes, one map from them, which was Oslo with Mr. Miyagi. But also, do you remember back to City Edition? We reviewed a map called, not a map, a city called La Coruña, which is in Spain, España. Oh, hang on. Let's have a little look at this elevated section. This is obviously for water runoff. And is it elevated? I was worried about this not being elevated at all. I would have grumbled about that. But if we got down low enough, you can just see a tiny little crack underneath there. Water only needs a little bit of a crack to seep underneath. So that's a good job, well done. So yes, today we aren't in Spain, we are in Italy. Good to be in Italia. It does have that Mediterranean vibe. And in fact, the theme and LUT work so well. I mean, they're virtually a star on their own. Such a great choice. They work so well together on this map. And we'll just keep scooting along towards our next intersection, which is a Dumble Intersection. Again, look at the sweeping S-bend road bridge there as well. That's not the easiest thing to do well and maintain it looking excellent. Then we've got a Mr. Tickle intersection there with the tickle arm off going up into the hills with the switchbacks. Again, very, very tidily done. And everything is almost perfect here. I say almost because I noticed a little bit of terrain glitching right on the edge here. And then it made me wonder, if we get down on our hands and knees and peer underneath and really strain, do we get, yes, there it is, a little bit of blue mantle. Tiny weeny bit. Now, I'm not that pedantic. I'm more bothered by the terrain glitching right on the edge of the road than I am about the mantle there. But just a tiny hint of work that just needs cleaning up underneath there. Are you put off? You're not, are you? So don't worry about it, because I'm not. I'm really not. Nice little road over rail section here. I do like these slightly hidden rail tunnels. It makes you go, ooh, that's magic. Look, magic, I tell you. And then we'll scoot around this way. Again, it's just perfect. Nice little decorative trees down the middle, and just not absolutely perfectly one and then another one and then another. You've got a few gaps as well. Speaking of gaps, though, we have got a missing pillar here, and I feel this is probably about as long a gap. Here we go, one pillar here, and then a long gap and one pillar over here. Probably about the longest gap I'd want between two pillars ever. I would move them just a little bit closer in towards the water's edge, just a little bit more supportive, really. But other than that, very nice. This is your start square intersection. This is going to be quite key. Dumbles again. And then we've got a tiny minor little detailing floor here. Can you see it? Can you see it? Well, you have to get in really close. There it is. Street lamp, just clipping through. That's one tap of the page up button there. That'll fix that. Well, two, because you want to have one on the opposite side as well. Where are you going, Mr. Truck? Now, that's weird. Route finding has gone berserk there. Not blaming funchenstein for that, but I will blame them for having a perfect start square. Perfectly located for our asset of the day, which is by one of my favourite creators. It's Reaper, and it's a Rico Killborn Tower version 3, 80 metres. The other two versions are available over on Patreon. If you want to go over and sub to them, then that's a good thing for them. Okay. Factoids, because factoids. And it's the, 1 month to Christmas. November the 25th in 1952, The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie opened in London. It is still running today, and it's the longest running show in the world. And I've been. And it's such it's a very dated play, I've got to tell you. Very, very dated. But the whole experience was just amazing. It was like stepping back in time. So if you do get a chance to go to the Mousetrap in London, do take the opportunity. You won't feel let down at all. Anyway, Killborn Tower version 3 by Reaper. The 80 metre version. Okay, where's this truck going? I'm bothered by this truck. Stop, truck. Stop. I'm wanting to know. Stop, truck. Hang on. Boop. Just hang on. Right. How do we stab? Stopped him. Great, lovely. Right. Where are you going? Up the switchbacks. Take a left, and then a right, and then all the way up here. Well, no, hang on. No. Take a right here, and then onto the highway. That's a really weird route. Route finding has gone berserk there. Okay, but I don't think you'll be seeing an awful lot of traffic through your start square, because that is just completely bonkers. Totally bonkers. Still, there we go. Colossal Order, that's your fault. You're making Funchenstein look bad. Alright, okay, and then off and around here, around the this little hill that takes you down to the towards the dock. And then this then follows down towards another big hill, but this time we're going a long way around it with a big elevated section, which I'm going to argue is a little bit excessive. Okay, I can see how it's going around the hill there, but I still think we could have done maybe a little cutting or something through about here. It wouldn't have been beyond the realms of believability. I just feel that that's a bit of a stretch. And it is a creative thing. It's a conscious creative thing, because that is not how the highways work. In fact, this part of the map in real life of this part of the world, there's an awful lot of rail. Down at those docks, massive rail yards. So if you want to recreate that, then go for it. It'd be a lot of fun creating a big old rail yard down there, I think. Anyways, yes, let's scoot, not elevated, and then tunnels, and then tunnels, and then more tunnels, and so on. You get the gist. Off towards the edge of the map. Now, the rail. The rail is very slick. I do like, it's always fun when you see two lines running exactly parallel and exactly in line with each other. And this is very slickly done. Very, very slickly done. A tunnel there. We nip out somewhere over here. That's cool. And that's just slick again. Not really anything to moan about in general. There's one little thing like here. I've just skipped over it. There we go. We've got a missing catenary in the middle there. Missing portals. And I do have a tutorial that prevent you from doing what funchenstein's done there. Again, is that ever going to cost a map a 5th star? On its own, no. No. With everything else, yes. But on its own, no, absolutely fine. And then we'll scoot to this way. Through this tunnel. Where's that? Oh, over here. I see it. And then through this tunnel. It's just slick. It's sexy. It's lovely. It's just peaceful as well. You just imagine living here. It'd be just amazing. You notice we're in Start Square territory here because of Reaper's Tower there. Over the road there. Perfect looking bridge over here. Bearing off to the right. There's more rail as well on this map. We're just following this main route through that tunnel there. Emerges over here. Perfect looking bridge there. And then another tunnel over here. Right, so when we come back after the intermission, we'll do all the usual. Check for shipping routes, check for water flow, and then have a little look around the rest of the map as an overview and decide if we want to play on it. But first of all, this important message.
Are you struggling with water physics in the game? Are you constantly drowning and flooding your soggy little sins? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Water Physics by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
Okay, so back to Provincia Calvino, Mediterranean District by funchenstein. And shipping routes look pretty good. 1 or 2 minor grumbles here. I think you know what's coming. Yes, it's the dreaded right angle turn, which of course all ships love to do. And then that right angle turn as well there, heading into the docks, or just off of a right angle. Not quite right angle there, but still a sharp angle. More like maybe a 55 degree, maybe. Anyway. And then we've got another shipping route over here, which just dead ends by an alternative docks area. Water flow. Right, the rivers here, they're not the widest, they're not the strongest, but they're going to be enough to get you started. That's not my biggest problems with the water flow. The amount of capacity isn't my biggest problem with this map in terms of the water. We'll get to that in a minute, won't we? Anyway, we've got docks and harbours and all sorts of things as well. It's all good. Anyway, there's your map as a whole. Is she lovely? Okay, let's look at some things. Let's start off with these quarries, because we haven't really had a look at the quarries. The Laviante theme, I just love this. I love the way that the grass is kind of like working with the cliffs as well on the edges. It just has a realism about it. Now, I would have been tempted to throw a few of Zardas's rocks for detailing down as well. But the funchenstein decided against it, and can't really fault it, really. I still would have added it myself, but I can't fault it. Then we've got these switchbacks that this is the road to nowhere and the road to everywhere. I think this is a national park in real life or something up here, because we've got all these switchbacks to get you up to the top of this hill for no real reason. And then we have all the switchbacks to take you down the opposite side of the hill for no real reason. So I reckon, yes, park life users will like that hill. Okay, what more have we got going on this map? Loads of things. What should we look at next? Over here, well, we've got more switchbacks there. But I'm loving look at the terrain, the work on this terrain. And also, the tree placement is exquisite. Cannot fault that at all. Really happy with that. Lots of buildable area up on the plateaus, like up there. You can work up there. But also, oh, look at this intersection. Just look at this. It's so easy to have missed that one. That's a beaut as well. But then we've got a lot of buildable location down there in the valley as well. So lots of options. Over here we've got what have we got? We've got the rivers. Let's look at the rivers in a little bit more detail. Because if there is anything that I think funchenstein needs to spend a little bit more time on, it's the rivers. Not so much down here. This part of the river is fine. It doesn't pop, but it's absolutely fine. The riverbanks maybe could do a little bit of extra foliage here and there, a little bit of detail. Then we've got some sort of like gorges where the river has cut its way through. I don't mind them too much. A little bit of waterfall there as well. That's tidy. But then when we start getting into the hills, into the mountains, I'm not buying it so much. It just doesn't really sell itself to me up here. And again, I feel this is where maybe where some extra rock details, extra foliage in these areas, and some diversity to the banks would have added a lot more interest. Like here, it looks interesting. It just needs a little bit more cragginess to it, I think. Then we've got a divergence, or a convergence even, I suppose. And then up here, it just feels a bit awkward. It's nice. Look at up the top there. It looks amazing. And the roots look amazing. It's just the finest detail. But if you think it's just the mountain rivers that I think are a little bit on the weak side, this river, which is just off to the side of the map as well, this one is lacking something as well. And if we follow this downstream, looks okay, doesn't it? This looks fine. Stop moaning, BonBonB. I'm fine. Okay, this is a good bit. Then we've got a slightly drowned tree there. Do I mind that? I think I'd like it just a little bit more out of the river. Not much. Somewhere maybe about there ish. Maybe a bit more, actually. I could have moved it a bit more in. But anyways, yes. Just move that slightly onto the banks. But then we get a little bit of water. Where it narrows it up here, we're getting a little bit of water being forced and pinched. And it doesn't like it. Now we've got, so if you see some bumpy water going on here. Then we've got some shallow water going on here. I've given the map plenty of time to settle down as well, so don't fret on that front. And then with a bit of a bump of the water there, very shallow water there. Hardly anything running across that little pinch point there at the moment. Very, very shallow. And then it just follows. So it's not the worst river you're going to see. It's not. But it's a bit lumpy bumpy and could do with just a little bit of finesse. Just to bring it up to the very highest of standards. But everything else of the map. Look, there you go. This ditch. This is like the main part of the river. It's become a ditch. Anyways, all good. All good. Right, what haven't we done? I know what we haven't done. We haven't done the coastline. This is great. This is top level here, right? We've got beautiful beaches. We've got lovely little headlands like that. Beaches. It just feels realistic. It feels lovely. Feels like a place to go on holiday. Got a few little islands that aren't spectacular, but are practical and okay. They're fine. They're absolutely fine. Nothing to moan about with those at all. They work perfectly within the map. And then we've got some docks, ready-made cut docks as well, if you want to be placing docks straight off from the off. Anyway, what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide that one. What do I think? I think it's a top 10 map. For the month, yes. For the year, maybe not, but still got a month to go, so it could be. Okay, aesthetically, I love it. I love it. I think the rivers, especially where they're narrow, could do with a little bit more work, but that's the only thing that could really bring it up to a 5th star, so high 4 stars for me. Detailing, on the whole, excellent. Few little minor things to fix, but it's definitely still, unquestionably, a 4-star map. Gameplay potential, it's a tricky one. I didn't know whether to go 3 or 4. I was hankering around, is it only a 3-star map for gameplay because of the water flow? And then my head told me, no, you want to play this, don't you? I do want to play this one. And that is quite often the difference between 3 and 4 stars, the desire to want to play it. So 4 stars for gameplay potential. Provincia Calvino Mediterranean District by Funchenstein. And we haven't had many of these lately, but it definitely gets the brand new BonBonB seal of approval. There you are. Well done, Funchenstein. Really enjoyed that one. I'm sure there are a lot of city builders out there who are going to enjoy it as well. Well, thank you for watching, for commenting, for liking and for subscribing, for joining me for another map in that What Map series. There'll be another one coming along tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. There's no map on the screen now if you want to have a little vote on that one. And thanks to all the Patreons for their support in this last month. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Have a great day and I'll see you very, very soon. Now, where did I put my hat?